Alan Holden here with another installment of the Local Long Beach Diary. Radio and podcast fans have probably heard of storytelling shows, like the Moth Hour, for example. Long Beach seems to have its own version of everything good. So, of course, we have our own True Stories contest. It's called Long Beach Searches for the Greatest Storyteller. It's run by Mariana Williams, wife of songwriter Paul Williams. So I'm off to Alamitos Bay to take in a show and learn more from her over a bite at Mulaney's Grill and Irish Bar.
It's a nice place.
It's really nice. The food's good.
Music's too loud, but only if you're trying to do an interview.
Yeah.
Somewhere it says you're an author.
I wrote a series of books about Veronica Bennett, who plays piano and sings. It's romance, comedy, and accidental crime. And then I wrote a book of my stories, because I do storytelling events and shows, and I competed in the Moth and things like that. Yeah, so then I wrote some books called Love, Regret, and Accidental Nudity. And so those are all just stories about me, like as a child trying to be in show business and me, doing different things. All true stories. I've created a show called Dave is in Danger. It's been touring almost 2 years. And then Deborah and I came together with another show called Accidental Nudity.
It's a line lifted from the book.
That's what it's lifted from Paul. Paul used to say, I quit drinking because it led to accidental nudity. I asked him if I could use it, and he said, yeah, I could.
Not the Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Not Phantom of the Paradise,
Yeah.
Paul Williams.
Yeah, that's my husband.
One of my favorite cult movies, by the way.
20th Century Fox presents Phantom of the Paradise, a gothic horror story, a beautiful love story. Paul Williams as Swan.
I want you to stop terrorizing the paradise and rewrite your cantata.
And the Phantom of the Paradise.
Well, I wouldn't have brought it up except that song came on. There's also Virgil in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, the damn dirty apes.
Apes can ride horses.
Right.
The final chapter in the incredible ape saga. The contestants, ape against man. Comes the last, the most spectacular of all the ape adventures.
No! Fight like apes! I would go to the Moth, and it was like my ambition. I would go every time to LA, and you put your name in a hat, as you might know.
Right.
And sometimes you get picked and sometimes you don't. I took the things I didn't like about the Moth and threw them out. Like, when you're going on. I give everybody a program when they come in. They see where they are in the show. They can relax. And number 2 is, how about a prize? Our first storyteller is Laura Bosworth. So I'm going to turn it.
State your name for the record.
Laura Bosworth.
Where do you get your inspiration?
Generally just from life. These stories are all supposed to be true personal stories.
You go through life saying, that just happened to me, that's a great story.
The story I'm telling is just kind of an inconsequential thing, that weird thing that happened to my husband and me. We took our kids to the water park, and as soon as we walked in, they took off. Because our job was to pay to get in and buy lunch. So we're looking around. We wanted to go on the rides. It was called the Black Hole. And we went down it on a double raft. I was in the front, he was in the back. There were twists and turns and sudden drops. I was screaming, he was laughing, we had a great time.
Do you remember the first time you did this?
I'm going to put it at about 20 years ago, but could be a little more.
Well, probably less.
Probably.
Probably.
Because I would have been a baby then.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
if camera 2 could get a close-up, you
absolutely
look like a yearbook photo.
Yeah, right. I was so scared.
We've gone 3-4 times when I said, hey, I have a good idea. You should ride in the front. It's really fun. And he said, I don't think we should do that. The sign says the bigger person should be in the back. And I said, oh, they're not talking about us. Little kids.
If somebody were listening to this and they thought to themselves, I think I have a story, I think I want to do this, would you have any words of advice to them about, how to get over those butterflies in their stomach? Or
There are a lot of small storytelling groups around the area in LA and Orange County that meet about monthly and give you a chance to kind of get up and work on a story, tell a story.
Did you say you had one?
I do. Long Beach Storytellers, meetup.com.
for celebrating storytelling.
Oh, we were getting this speed. We were going so fast. I was terrified and really mad because we paid money. They were trying to kill us. Not okay. We shot out of the end of that tube. Ken flew off the edge of our raft and hit that water with a perfect 10-point belly flop. Sank like a stone.
Everybody gets a ballot when they come in with their $6. However,
Yes.
I have 3 Long Beach authors there every time. And their votes count for 5 points. And the judges will swear that'll be 15 points towards somebody that they don't know. The judges a lot of times vote separately or they vote together. Harry Saltzgaver, the editor of the Grundy Gazette,
Right.
he's been a judge all of our shows for 8 years. Brother Matthew here, nice to meet you. How we get these storytellers is they send me about 5 lines about an incident in their life. I put them on the show and try and balance it like funny, sad, old, new, girl, boy. But he has a good story, and if he didn't come tonight, I was going to tell his story. Leave it as my own.
My wife and I had been married for 16 mostly difficult years when we finally decided to adopt a 34-year-old woman named Christy. Christy was my wife's coworker, and she had recently gotten out of a long-term relationship, so she had a lot of time on her hands. And she was spending a lot of time at our house having meals after work or on the weekends. Was she would go to wildlife rescue a couple days a week as a volunteer, and she would help to patch up and administer medicine to wounded and ill pigeons.
Brother Matthew.
Yes,
My name's Al.
nice to meet you.
What was it like up there?
Oh, it was great. It was such a warm, friendly room. Yeah, it feels like speaking in front of your family at Thanksgiving.
I said, well, how many pigeons are we talking about? And she said 5, but only 4 stay in the cage. 1 is a free range. And I said, you have a wild pigeon flying around your house. She said, his name is Beezerbird.
I was a minister for a few years, so I have done some public speaking before. Yeah. But this is the first time I've ever just told a story that didn't involve an altar call at the end.
And normally, doesn't that give you an idea how well you did? I mean, maybe we should have. Maybe we should have
barometer.
Yeah, maybe we should have passed something around.
That's right.
What about the pigeon poop? She said, well, I made him a flight suit, of course. I said, you made a wild pigeon a diaper? She said, we prefer to call it a flight suit. My wife could sense that I was about to explode with some sort of sarcastic remark, and she kicked me under the table, and I said, good for you.
In your case, it sounds like you lead a pretty interesting life. And so
I think that everybody has a story. You know, life is crazy, and life is full of unexpected twists and turns.
Yeah.
There's stuff to tell. Everyone's got a story to tell.
well, I guess in a way, life is a story.
Yeah, it is.
Some weeks later, when I got home, and my wife was visibly upset, and she said, Christy's heartbroken, Beezerbird flew away. And the only thing I could think of to say was he naked when he left? Or did he have his flight suit on? She said, we're going to make flyers. And I said, the hell we are. And she said, Christy's really upset. And I said, there's no way that I am going to print up a bunch of flyers that say, have you seen this pigeon? 2 hours later and $50 lighter, I hand my wife 100 colored flyers of have you seen this pigeon? Name is Beezer, will not come when called. There's another story about the Buddha. He said, well, when you give it to the poor, you're giving it to me. A few hundred years later, Jesus said something very similar. He said, I want you to clothe the naked. I want you to feed the hungry. Whatever you do to the least of these, you are doing unto me. And it occurred to me years later, if bats, possums, and pigeons are not the least of these amongst us, I don't know what is. The world could do with a few more kind-hearted souls like Christy, and I have to admit, I wish I was more like her.
Thank you, Brother Matt. This is our 9th season, so thank you for supporting Story.
State your name for the record.
Charla Howard. I have attended some, and I told stories at 2 events and didn't win, but I don't care. I just like telling stories. I figured I don't really have to have any kind of butterflies about telling stories. I just pretend I'm talking to my friends. I'm hoping tonight, the 3rd time, will be a charm.
Put your hands together for Charla Howard.
I decided I wanted to adopt a cat or a kitten. 2-year-old cat named Jocelyn, whose nose made a perfect heart.
How do you think I'm up?
It's just what happened.
Just stuff that happened?
It just happened a few days ago, yeah. I was going to tell a big one about when I was in Paris, and this art dealer was trying to convince me that I should be his 3rd Jewish wife in the United States, etc.
Note to self, put Parisian music under this while she's explaining.
And I filled out the application for Jocelyn. Everything was going well until she hit the question, how old would your pet have to be before you'd let her outside? I didn't pick any of the options, a year, 2 years, 5 years, or whatever. I just said, I would probably keep her indoors for a year, and then I would allow her out into my fenced-in yard, with a lock on the gate. And she hit that question and answer, and she said, we don't adopt animals out to anybody who would let them outside. I don't think anyway, this question disqualified me.
So if somebody out there thinks they've got a story and they're curious about doing one of these events, do you have any advice?
Just the same advice I give people when they're hesitating before they jump off the roof. I just say, do it.
Jump.
What's the worst that could happen?
Do a flip.
Right. A couple of days later, I found another cat, Mildred, kitten, 4 months old, great bio. It's like looking on an online dating site. I applied to adopt her and drove up there. We went through the application, stopped on several questions this time. They asked, how many litter boxes would you have for us? And where would you put the litter boxes? I said, 1 litter box, the laundry room. I said, I have a fairly small house. I think she would find it. And how much money would you spend at the vet in order to prolong your cat's life? Again, I couldn't check the box, $1,000 or, I filled in the blank and I said, well, it's situational. It's like my whole life. How much am I spend to keep myself alive? Life support. I don't want that for my cat either. We inched toward the end of the application, and then she said, well, I see that you're retired, and Mildred is just a kitten. So have you made arrangements? Who will take care of Mildred if you are no longer able to? At this point, I'm just frustrated. And she said, by the way, we have over 100 applications for Mildred. Someone told me that on the phone, 100 applications. And I said, I think you're doing Mildred a great disservice. And with that, I left. And I told this story to a friend a couple of days later, and she doesn't put up with anything, what? She said, what I would have told that lady? I would have said, off, lady. That's the story, I've got 2 things I tell myself. I will never regret being too kind in my life. And I've realized of late, I will never regret saying, off, lady.
Long Beach Searches for the Greatest Storyteller is a contest which runs from January through August on the first Monday night of each month. Tickets are $6, with the winner getting $100 and a slot in the final competition. We plan to bring you those award-winning stories here later. Details are at marinawilliams.net and on Facebook under Marina Loves Stories. For KLBP, Low Power FM, the Long Beach Radio Project, I'm Alan Holden.